Hi guys, my name is Karthik and I am from executeautomation.com and welcome to another video of our Build, Deploy, Test with Jenkins and Docker course. And in this video, we are going to talk about working with multi-branch pipeline project in Jenkins. So we have already talked about multi-branch pipeline a bit while we worked with the Blue Ocean theme of the Jenkins pipeline creation in our earlier video, but we didn't really saw what is this multi-branch pipeline project in more detail. And in this video, we are going to talk about it. Multi-branch pipelines. The multi-branch pipeline project type enables you to implement different Jenkins files for different branches of the same project. In a multi-branch pipeline project, Jenkins automatically discovers, manages, and executes pipeline for branches which contains a Jenkins file in source control. And this eliminates the need for manual pipeline creation and management. And you might have heard about me saying the same idea and concept while we discussed the Jenkins pipeline, and we saw how the master and develop branch of a same repository that we had automatically got discovered while it was executing the pipeline execution for us. So that's exactly is the idea of the multi-branch pipeline, but we are gonna see how we can create it instead of doing it from the Blue Ocean pipeline. So let's quickly see everything in action and understand how things work. So for that, I'm going to jump into my Edge Chrome browser for Jenkins. Alright, so now I'm already in my localhost 8080 of Jenkins, and this is the project that we worked before. And now I'm going to create a multi-branch pipeline. So you can see there is something called as a multi-branch pipeline over here. It says creates a set of pipeline project according to the detected branches in source control management repository, which is pretty cool. And we already discussed about freestyle projects, pipeline project, and now we're going to talk about the multi-branch pipeline. So for that, I'm first going to grab my Jenkins pipeline repo from the repository. So I'm just going to go over here. This is the repository that we were talking about in our earlier videos. And you can see that I now have a branch like master and a develop branch. So these are the two branches I really have so that I can actually work on these two branches same time and not stop each other while the application is still under development. So we already know there are two branches, and now we will see how Jenkins automatically detects these two branches in the multi-branch pipelines. So I'm just going to create a pipeline here. So maybe I'm going to call this as Jenkins pipeline, and I'm going to select the multi-branch pipeline. I'm going to hit OK. So you can see that it's going to show me the display name. I'm just going to say Jenkins multi-branch. And then you can see that we have something called as a branch source. So in this branch source, I can actually add the source control of my project, which is nothing but the source control that is the one which we need to give over here. So I'm just going to clone the repo over here. And then I'm just going to go to the Git, and I'm going to paste the project repository over here. And you can see that there is an option called as discover branches. So this discover branches will automatically discovers the branches which does exist in this particular repository for us. And we will just let this thing as it is over here. And then you can see that for the build configuration, it says that the mode by Jenkins file by default, and that's the only option you got. And it asks you where this particular Jenkins file exists. So as I told you before, this Jenkins file can be anywhere within your project, but by default, Jenkins will look at the root directory of your repository. So it's by default taking the root directory as Jenkins file, but if your Jenkins file is sitting somewhere under a folder structure, then probably you need to mention the full path of that. Make sure that's a unique path. Well, once everything is done, I'm not going to do any other stuff over here as of now. I'm just going to save this, and you can see that it is automatically scanning a multi-branch pipeline for us. And you can see it's already detected the repo has got two branches like master and develop, and it is trying to build both of them in the build executor, and you can see in the status over there, which is pretty cool. And now if I go to this Jenkins multi-branch, you can see that it has taken or built already the develop branch for us. And if I go to the develop branch, and if I go and see the logs of the first execution that has happened in the console output, you can see that the execution has happened and the deployment is being skipped, and the artifact has been skipped because it is a develop branch and the deployment is not going to happen. That's what we did in our earlier video while we created the Jenkins file, which is pretty cool. And if you go back to the Jenkins multi-branch for the master, you can see that it is still executing, and we know the reason, because we set a condition that only if we agree to deploy the application, only then it will deploy, and then it will create an artifact for us. So if I go all the way to this particular build log or the console output, and you can see that it tells me that do you want to deploy the application, something like that. And only if I do a proceed, you can see that the deployment is going to be happening, and it is approved by Karthik. I don't know, maybe that's the name I have given. And then it's deployed to the IIS server, and the execution is done successfully, which is pretty cool. So you can see that this is how the multi-branch pipeline basically works. So just pretty cool, right? So you can see the scan multi-branch pipeline log. It shows me that it checked out and it found Jenkins file in the master branch, and also in the develop branch it could able to process these two branches for us successfully, which is pretty cool. And this is exactly what we saw in our earlier videos as well with the Blue Ocean pipeline. So if I just open this Blue Ocean pipeline over here, you can see that this is the exact same UI that we discussed in our earlier videos. It's in the branches, and if you go to the activities, you can see that these are the two execution which has happened for these two different branches. And if you go all the way to your earlier execution that we made over here in the Jenkins pipeline, and if I go to the Blue Ocean over here, and you can see that it is exactly the same thing, master and the develop branch. And if you see the activities, we can see all this execution has happened, which is pretty cool. So this is exactly what it is with the pipelines, and this is the concept of the multi-branch pipeline. And you can have any number of branches in your repository, and all these branches are going to be executed for you by Jenkins automatically. And that's the power of multi-branch pipeline in Jenkins itself. So that's it, guys. Once again, thank you very much for watching this video. Meet you in our next video.